Thanks, Paul. Now, Gerard Sekoto, the Donkey Cart, the Water Boy, and Vladimir Tretchikoff's Ndebele Warrior are some of the works that will go under the hammer at Stephan Welz Co in Johannesburg on Wednesday. Sekoto's work is expected to rake in about 1.4 million rand, as well as vintage 80s dress by designer Bob Mackie. Excuse me. To tell us more about the auction, we are joined by independent art consultant Dr. Fred Scott. Doctor, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Morning Live.
Good morning.
Talk to me about this auction and what makes it so incredibly special. I can only imagine that if you've got works on auction by Gerard Sekoto, it is a special auction.
Yes. The auction is being run by the company Stephan Welz and Company. They are a fine art auctioneer ring company that provides collectible items to the public.
To some of the works, I mean, this Gerard Sekoto is a South African artist that lived in France, and I mean, if you consider some of his work, 1.4 million, is that maybe more, or is that kind of what we're expecting? Is that a moderate estimate of what his work might go for under the hammer?
That's certainly the expected value for a painting of this quality for Gerard Sekoto's work. Yeah. Yes, it's certainly that question does come up regularly. You know, where does the value come from? And one should go back and maybe look at the history of Gerard Sekoto. He was born in Middelburg. He attended a college in Polokwane, and he settled in Sophia Town in 1938. Following that, he went down to Cape Town, where he worked in District 6. He settled there for some time, and he actually joined a very important group of artists known as the New Group that were really the founders and the ground layers of fine art in South Africa. So that already brings intangible value to an artist like Gerard Sekoto. But I think more importantly, he was a real artist. That's really the crux of it all. He certainly had courage, he had determination, and he had a love for what he was doing. And it's all those aspects that really determine the value later on of an artist.
But according to experts, the value of his work is increasing. There seems to be a greater appreciation for his work now. Why do you think that is, Doctor?
Yeah. Well, certainly because of the quality in his work. He certainly painted the human conditions around it, and particularly in this painting of the Water Boy, he shows with empathy the labor that went into providing water to people with a donkey cart and things like that. And if one looked at the painting in particular, the whole composition of the work is very well balanced. There's a very nice feeling for color. His palette was dark colors, ochre. He loved to use that in the olden days, and he certainly was able to use those colors to express himself and express the human condition at the time.
There are some other art that will be auctioned off as well. Talk to me about Bob Mackie being ending up in this auction.
Yes, Bob Mackie is
and the iconic.
Yeah, yes, he is an iconic designer, and he certainly made a name for himself by designing very important, I should say, or I want to use the word flashy dresses for celebrities, you know, like Cher, Carol Burnett, and the rest of them. So yeah, he really made for himself a name in Hollywood. Yeah.
There's an increase or a rising interest in vintage fashion. Why do you think that is? Why are we retro-minded?
I think it's the scarcity of the items, really. You know, it's an era that's past. The clothes were certainly very sophisticated, and there's a yearning to get something like that as well, just to deviate a bit from more trendy contemporary pieces.
This is part of Stephan Welz Co's annual auction. They hold 3 for the year, so they're quite special.
Yes, there are in fact 6 auctions, 3 in Johannesburg and 3 in Cape Town per year. And this auction, I think, is also quite special for people that want to start to collect art. There's a whole range of works on paper, and normally works on paper are quite affordable, and it's good quality works. And on the other hand, works of paper can become extremely valuable. There's one piece created by the street artist Banksy on the auction as well, and certainly that is much more expensive. That we expect a price of around about 160,000 rands for this piece.
Wow, so there's some interesting things to look out for. But as you're saying, Doctor, great auction if you want to start collecting. That was independent art consultant Dr. Fred Scott speaking to us about the auction at Stephan Welz Co. that will feature some of the works of Gerard Sekoto's The Donkey Cart, The Water Boy, and Vladimir Tretchikoff's Ndebele Warrior, which are going on auction. Expected 1.4 million rand. Well, that's next week. Let us know what you think. We know we've got a lot of art lovers here on the program. Morning Live at SABC.co.za.